Black shirt. We're being lazy today. Hey guys, it's Percolating, and today we are back with our story times. You guys already know we are playing Narcissu, and last time I fucked up, which we are not gonna do again, hopefully, says the dude who fucked up last time on accident. But you know what, we're gonna try not to do that this time. We're gonna get right back into Narcissu, and last time we left off, we had a Bonnie and Clyde style scenario. Let me move this the fuck out the way. But we had our two main characters running away like Bonnie and Clyde in the fucking night. They left the hospital in critical conditions. Well, not critical conditions, because they're not like at that very moment dying, but we already know that they have a very life-threatening condition. They're terminally ill, so they're gonna die soon, but they ran off together. So I've got some feelings on what might happen, but I'm not gonna say shit. I'm just gonna go ahead and play it through. Let's just go ahead and load back up where we were, shall we? So this is where we last left off, because I fucked up and wanted to look at what these things were, and just so you know, they're on the screen now. Daniel, you better not forget to add that shit in. They're on the screen now. This is what they're eating. Cool. By the way, Pocari is apparently like almost like Gatorade, but nonetheless, not that important. Let's get back into the rest of what's going on here. So each of them has an order of blah 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 blah. It's been a while since having this stuff. With one hand holding the convenience store nigiri, the girl murmured. Thinking about if normally it wasn't all that splendid, but compared to the food on the 7th floor, it was good enough. And then when both of us reached out towards the fries, suddenly the girl's hand stopped. Is something wrong? Not particularly. Gotta love that line. While answering, her line of sight turned towards the whitely fogged windshield. There by the roadside, a number of white flowers could be seen. White flowers soaked by the rain. I didn't know whether they were planted by someone or whether they were naturally, but these flowers seemed familiar. Of course, it's the flowers from the blah blah blah. The ward. Those were Narcissus. Roll credits. Roll the fucking credits. Anyway, Narcissus. They're also called daffodils. Ah, those were daffodils. I didn't know much about plants and all, but daffodils I had at least heard of the name of before. And also, I recalled that even though the girl would normally speak on rarely, she would uncharacteristically join in a conversation on this topic. That's why I went along and continued to speak. And I guess these are also different from those two? Strictly speaking, they're different. They're quite rare things, aren't they? Then aren't they? Not particularly. They're everywhere. Everywhere like where? ... I know that's really attractive. But, my lips needed it. I can't be looking like a crackhead all day. For me, it wasn't like I put very much meaning in that statement. It was intended simply from the flow of conversation as a natural question. And yet, she thought for a moment. Then slowly opened her mouth. West. West? Ajishima is famous. Hey, wait. Ajishima? You mean... Just how far away do you think that is from here? For someone who had only just started driving like me, I couldn't even make a guess. Most likely easily around 700 kilometers. And even using the expressway, it couldn't even begin to estimate the time it would take. First thing, considering our funds, it certainly didn't seem enough. Even if we stayed off the expressway and used smaller roads, the cost of gasoline itself was ominous. Look, don't say unreasonable things now. There's no way we could get to such a place, right? Who said anything about wanting to go? Eh? I was asked, so I simply answered. With just that answer, the girl once again gazed beyond the windshield at those flowers. The glass inside the car, cold from the rain, was fogged white. She cast her gaze beyond even that. It wasn't as if I wanted to go there also. However, it wasn't as if we had another place to go. The abrupt cuts. To chapter 3. The me whose time has stopped. Only increasing my knowledge, simply increasing the number of meaningless values, simply desiring only information from the television screen. Eventually the real grew faded, turned hollow. But I liked looking at the maps. Cars, trains, things that would take me places, I liked them. Spreading maps upon the narrow bed. Tracing route after route. Tracing. Sedans, coupes, convertibles. I also rode on many different kinds of cars. The ever-continuing Route 1 ran on and on upon it. Indigo blue sky and beautiful shoreline. I ran all the way to the place painted in my dreams. Gently going around the curve traced by a cape. Under the burning sunlight, dashing to the brilliant white beach. If I just closed my eyes, I could go anywhere. Scenery that I had never seen before would float before me as I thought about lands that I would never be able to go. Without any meaning, I simply increased my knowledge. Are we talking as the girl right now? Hollowly, I accumulated only yearning. A sky where the rain had let up. Flowing by at an amazing speed, high clouds. From the ground, the still damp asphalt gave a unique shh noise. Within all that, as always, we continued driving on. Without a destination, simply just driving on. It wasn't like we headed to Aji-sama. We had spoke about that last night. For one thing, as a problem before that, we probably didn't have the gasoline money. While pondering about that, I continued driving straight along the unknown road. But where was this, I wonder? Suddenly I wound up thinking about it. From the start, I wasn't all that good with geography, but all the places' names were ones I had never seen before. I had been planning on driving onward in any case, but with the navigation system dead, I knew even less. Before I knew it, I was peering at signs in the area while I drove. I don't really know. What? No, just wondering where this is. The girl spoke to me when I looked around, and I lightly replied. Well, most likely, even if I asked her, she wouldn't have known, probably. Iruma-sama of Saitama-kun. Saitama-kun. I'm really bad right now, apparently. I really need to practice my Japanese more. Eh? At the next intersection, if you go right, Route 16, you'll go out to Hachiojo. You know? Did you live here before? Not particularly. It's not that. That was a surprise. Oops. Why did it do that? I don't know. Whatever. That was a surprise. No, instead of surprising, why she knew so much was mysterious. No matter how you looked at it, she didn't seem the type to get into a car and go around. Then maybe, from here to that place, Ajishima, you know the way? I don't understand what your question means. Well, you see, without getting on the expressway, we might be able to get there using only the small roads, right? Look, the gasoline costs our money might be enough. Might be enough after all. Da, da, da. Do you want to go? No, it's not like that. I mean, but then don't ask. With those final words, the girl once again fell silent. So we keep getting so close to like trying to do something and then failing. It's horrible. I don't like it. In her usual cold way, she remained silent. She remained staring out the window. I had the feeling that what those eyes were looking at was not the scenery flowing by before her, but a much farther place. Those words, "don't ask," from before. Just what did they mean, I wonder? If I had answered that I planned on going, what would she have answered? Without a destination, we simply traveled. From the start, we hadn't had any plans or schedules. Simply, we just hated the both. We just hated both the 7th floor and our shallow homes. But for me, at least just for me, it didn't matter what. I probably wanted something to give me direction. My water bottle's popping, apparently. That's cool. Splish crash. It's cold, isn't it? Indeed. Some beach I didn't know the name of when I noticed we were heading out toward the sea. I had intended to head west, but it seemed at some point I wound up heading south. Phew. A beach with a pitch black sky and a strongly blowing cold wind. The two of us left the car and stood gazing at the dark sea. As always, the girl looked far away with a downcast air at where the black sky and sea merged at the horizon. And then, after watching the sea for a while, slowly she began walking to the water's edge. Say, what do you think would happen? I don't understand the meaning of your question. Da-da-da. Do you think I would die comfortably if I went out into the sea like this? Her back was still turned to me, words as she continued to walk towards the water's edge. The third time was the last. There is no fourth. Probably would come to picking between 7th floor and home. It seemed no one has escaped that. Those were words the girl had once passed to me. And the girl was on her second, had said that she wanted neither home nor the 7th floor. Already, it was after she had passed it on to me. Already, her task was over. That's why I thought it meant... That was why I thought it meant that. Who knows? I've never drowned before. Then if, right now, I were to go into the sea, would you stop me? While speaking, she turned around and looked at my face, placing the moon floating in the pitch black sky to her back. The gaze that was always looking at someone at some faraway place was looking straight at me. I don't know. Not until that time. Indeed. And then turning her back to me, once again facing the sea, she slowly started walking. Hey you. What? Is it that you want me to stop you? Da-da-da. At my words, the girl stopped just a few steps before breaking waves. The strong wind misted up the sprays from the waves striking her feet. If you want to stop me, if you want me to stop you, I'll stop you. Not particularly. It's not that. Then I don't have to stop you, right? Da-da-da. For that question also, there was no reply. However, the feet that stopped did not go further. That was why I thought that was her reply. It's so abrupt with its cuts and music. I don't like that, but the music fits for the most part. A high, high sky that could only be found in winter. Stained heart-wrenching blue with a strong wind that whistled across the elevated rail line. Reflecting that blue sky was the metallic hood of the running silver coupe. Coupe? I was gripping the steering wheel and the girl sat in her usual way in the passenger seat. Where this was, I didn't know, but as a more real problem in moments, we were going to run out of gasoline. From the start, we hadn't had that much money, but from the purchases at the convenience stores, our remaining funds were even less now. Now there was only 7,000 yen. Of course, for this car, I didn't know how many liters it took, but I thought we probably had enough to fill the tank once. If it wasn't as if we had a destination or anything, but losing our legs would mean we would be stuck. I'll go get some gas. I see. While speaking, I turned the wheel and headed towards the gas station in front of us. Welcome. Will it be credit card or cash? With cash. Will it be regular or high octane? Regular? High octane? I didn't really understand Of course, when it came to this car, there were lots of things I didn't know. But since I had only just gotten my license, I knew very little about this sort of thing in general. What shall it be? I hesitated to speak while the part-time clerk waited for my answer from the other side of the window. Just when I was about to say it didn't matter, the girl in the passenger seat spoke. Regular. Eh? Yes, regular. Yes, regular cash, full tank. Will that be alright? Yes, please. Yes, certainly. With a cheerful reply, the attendant began to skillfully use the gasoline pump. From the window about 10 centimeters came a distasteful smell of gasoline. Say regular is fine for this? Da-da-da. At the question, the girl remained silent. Instead, she quietly pointed out at the price listing on the pump. Of course. This was the cheaper one. I didn't really know much about this, but I didn't think there was that much of a difference. And then there was a meter on the gas pump before my eyes reporting the amount used. 25, 26, 27, 28. The digital display was counting up ferociously. Did I screw up? Looking at those numbers, I began to get nervous. Just before, I had wound up saying full tank saying full tank on a whim, but the amount of money we had on hand wasn't all that much. Put together all the change, it would think it was about 7,000, of course. I had no idea how large this car's tank was. If there wasn't enough money, what would happen? Going by the price list shown, I believe we had just enough for 60 liters, but 38, 39, 40, 41. Even now, the meter was counting up without slowing down. Under normal conditions, it would have been something I wouldn't have worried about, but as I continued watching, I grew more and more nervous. Damn it, is it still going? Before I knew it, the words tumbled out. It's okay, it'll stop now. Eh? This is a 50-liter. Just as she said that, when the meter was between 47 and 48, it stopped. Following that, the sound of a receipt being printed ran out, and once again the part-time clerk came back. Sorry for the wait. It comes to 52,240 yen. Here. From my pockets, I took out and handed over a 5,000 yen bill with a crumpled 1,000 bill. Here's your change of 760 and your receipt. Thank you very much. Putting the clerk's bright voice behind us, I once again pulled the car out onto the road before us. Once again, the silver coupe ran. With this, I felt an urgent fear of the gas tank to be gone for the moment. And our remaining funds was just about 2,000. I was also worried about that, but I was also curious about what would happen just before. Hey, could it be that you know a lot about cars? Not particularly. Not particularly. Didn't you just say this was a 50-liter before? Da-da-da. Of course, this much just might have just been a guess or something that was common knowledge. However, previously the girl also knew about the roads. Also nagged by the fact I took out the car registration on the dashboard. You would, of course, know this car's name, right? Is that a question? Well, you can think of it as a quiz. Integra Type R Coupe. That's correct. And the specs? 99 model, 5-speed transmission, maximum output 2,200 horsepower. I hadn't thought that she would really answer. My eyes couldn't help but follow the words on the registration in my hand as the girl flatly continued speaking. Total length 4,380 millimeters. Total width 1,695 millimeters. General displacement 1797 cc. Do you want me to go on? No, that's enough. Correct. As I replied, I returned the registration to its place. Unbelievably, all the specs were exactly as recorded. It was very much something that I didn't think could be memorized. If asked why someone would, I couldn't begin to imagine. But right before my eyes, this girl answered. Moreover, considering the roads and flowers from before, I could believe that she knew about a wide variety of things. Hey, why do you know so much? No particular reason. It's because I'm older than you. With just that answer, once again, the girl fell silent. Gazing out the window, she didn't give off an air that she would answer any new questions I raised. Older. It really didn't look it, but those were also the girl's words from before. Name, Setsumi. Blood type, O. Those were the words written on her white vinyl bracelet. And that she seemed to be older, that was the little information I knew of her. When the sun was slowly setting, the silver coupe continued running. Without a destination, without a place it needed to go, just simply moving forward. The issue of gasoline was fine, but the remaining money had mostly disappeared. Even counting the change, it was about 2,000. Thinking in terms of buying meals at convenience stores, it would last about 3 or 4 days. Hey, what should we do from now on? I don't understand the meaning of your question. I mean, we don't have much money left. And so? And so you... The girl was as she has always been. She spoke while bringing the negri just bought from the convenience store to her mouth. And also, just by continuing to drive like this, without a doubt the gasoline was being used up. In reality, doing nothing, just standing still, might have been better. However, doing nothing, being unable to do anything, just staying still was painful. While thinking that, I kept driving. From previous experience, driving on smaller roads, it was just about 3 days before the gasoline ran out. The remaining 2,000 used to buy food from the convenience store was also 3-4 days probably. Clearly, the end of things was coming into sight. Hey you. That place, Ajishima. You want to go there? Was it you who wanted to go there? No. There was no reply. Just the usual gazing out the window as always. I might want to go a bit, maybe. Why? Well, that's... Of course, from the start, we hadn't dashed out of the 7th floor with goals or plans. That was why, for me, going west, east, or wherever it was, it didn't matter. I'm sure any place would have been fine. I just want some goal or destination. When the day completely turned into night, I was in some pachinko parlor's lot. Oh, pachinko. Of course, I wasn't planning on making money off pachinko or slots. With this measly 2,000, I knew I didn't stand a chance. However, if it were just 10 or 20,000 yen, it should be easy to steal that much. That was from my previous travels through pachinko parlors, my guess. With just that much for the moment, it would be fine, and from that, we might even be able to get to Ajishima. Hajishima. That's why I spoke about my plan to the girl. How about it? Want to try? No. I see. All right. It was what was expected, but I was plainly refused. But I was plainly refused. I was plainly refused. Okay, that wasn't me. That was miswritten. From the start, it wasn't as if I was expecting anything from the girl. It wasn't as if I sought out her help. Explaining my plans to her was more like a declaration. Well then, wait a bit. Leaving her in the car, I walked towards the pachinko parlor alone. Inside the unexpectedly crowded shop, there were a number of machines, balls, dispensers, and a fair amount of people. Here and there were also numbers of stacked cash boxes. It might be just right. Making that decision, I headed toward the slot corner that was my target. After a while scouting from the aisles, from examining the area, I found one machine. Some middle-aged man who definitely looked like an office worker had stacked 4 boxes by his feet, and above his head had another 2 stacked. Moreover, it was a corner machine. The neighboring machines were empty. From what I had seen from before, he also didn't seem to have come with friends or acquaintances. The conditions were lined up. Most likely in that state, even if 1 box by his feet were stolen, he wouldn't notice right away. If it was like similar shops, it should be worth 20,000 yen. If we had just that, I simply waited intentionally for the office worker-like person to head to the restroom. Eventually, about 30 minutes had passed. Finally, the man stood up from his seat. Quickly following after, I went to the restroom to make sure. Then, in a rush, I quickly returned to the slot machine. Next, while checking the people who were playing the slots and the shop staff, I slowly approached the machine. Then, in order to avoid suspicion, acting perfectly natural, I pulled up a cash box at my feet. Crash! At that instant, a tremendous sound raised as the slot coins scattered on the floor. Pulled it up. Was the plan. No, certainly, I raised it up once with these hands. However, unable to support the weight, I wound up dropping the entire box on the floor. And then all eyes looked over, wondering what caused the loud racket. I thought I heard the sound of voices, felt the presence of people running over. However, these voices were heard from behind me. Already by the time I was 2 meters in front of the shop exit. Slam. Pant, pant. Starting the engine in a big rush, I slammed on the gas. Turning the wheel, I hurriedly pulled the car out. At that time. Yeah. Maybe because I had driven up onto a curb or something, just that moment I wound up ramming the rear. That gar-gary sound was the nasty sound of body scraping. However, there wasn't time to worry about it. I drove out onto the road in front of us. This really is some Bonnie and Clyde shit. They went and robbed a fucking gambling shop. Phew. While rubbing my chest, which was almost out of breath, I drove the silver coupe along the now totally dark road. I was a bit worried about the spot that was hit before. But for now, getting away was the place. From that place was had priority. Then, driving about 10 minutes when we were totally clear of the pachinko parlor, I stopped the car by some side road and began inspecting the place that was hit earlier. Is it okay? It's probably nothing major. From the passenger seat, the girl called to me just a tiny bit worried. While I inspected the damage around, I answered, eh. Looking at it, the rear bumper was slightly dented and the muffler's tip was a bit cracked. With just this, there probably wouldn't be a problem driving. Phew. Feeling relief, I let out a sigh. So close. Immediately, I recalled the events in this pachinko parlor. I had failed with just a little bit more to go. But if I did it well next time, I thought I could succeed. I figured that even though I hadn't been able to carry the cash box, that was only because I hadn't lifted heavy things in a while. If I were prepared from the start, I could probably manage. You're being mistaken. Eh? The you now should be different from the you from before. The girl spoke words as if she were seeing clear through me. However, with a weight like that, you shouldn't think of it as being the same. Most likely, what the girl was saying was right. I didn't want to admit it, but the me now was different from the me from before. Certainly with my strength reduced by this much, it was hard to believe I would succeed. Then what should I do? To the question there came no answer. Just quiet gazing at the dark sky beyond the window. That probably was telling me to give up. Chapter 4, The Emerald Sea. I'm gonna just take a quick look to see how many chapters are actually in this book. Couldn't find how many chapters there was, so whatever. We're just gonna continue. The Emerald Sea. Stop it, bottle. Stopping time, stopping my heart. Days of simply gathering knowledge. Days of gazing at maps, closing my eyes, traveling to unknown towns. I really want to say this is the girl talking. One day, on a monthly magazine, I always bought, my eyes stopped on a photo decorating the back cover. It was a female model wearing a flashy swimsuit, shot at the water's edge with a sort of pose. With the Emerald Sea, I always saw in my dreams behind her back, she was smiling. I was sure we were around the same age. With the exceptional style, happy and sorry. Discord just did a thing. I was gonna make the Discord announcement at the end, but apparently no. So, with that exceptional style, happy and relaxed, it's directing a smile at me. I don't think I was particularly envious. For once, I didn't have a swimsuit and didn't even have the urgent need to have one. For me, if I had pajamas, that was enough. Numerous seasons with white overcast skies passed without even the need to exchange words with anyone. That day, first year of middle school in June, the first day I was admitted into the hospital, I remember that I had ordered a swimsuit, recalled the swimsuit was a number of years before. Recalled the swimsuit from a number of years before. I remembered the swimsuit that had lost its debut that day. Taken out of the small trunk for the first time in years, a school swimsuit that had still brand new. Taking off my usual pajamas nervously, I put on the blue swimsuit. It was a perfect fit. Even though how many years have passed? It fit as if just now I had ordered it. Towards my figure, the monthly magazine model directed her smiling face at me. Smile with the Emerald Sea to her back. With that exceptional style, happy and relaxed, directing a smile at me. That was saddening. I didn't think it was particularly envious. However, to be honest, I really might have admired her. 'Cause I knew that it was impossible. I might have yearned for it even more so. But the large scar on my chest advised me to give up. My lifelong companion told me to make do with the world in my closed eyes. January 22nd, 2005. When the sun slowly slanted, staining the western sky orange, as always we continued to drive. What should we do now? Our money was for the most part tight. Say, you. When I was thinking about that, surprisingly the girl spoke to me. You can go take baths. You can go take baths? Right now, outside of a long baths, I haven't been told to stop. I see. Something similar to me, then. What she was saying was probably whether the doctors have stopped me from taking baths or not. Especially for kidney and digestive disorders where tubes were used, baths were often banned. Thinking about it that way, at least, the girl probably had a circulatory problem like I did. The game just like minimized, don't know why, but screw it. It didn't mess up anything. What, did you want to go take a bath? Da-da-da. Problem? No, I also want to take one. Even so, financially speaking, stopping at a hostel or hotel was out of the question. Well then, shall we look for a bathhouse someplace? Bathhouse? Something like that. We still haven't the money for. Da-da-da. On second thought, I'm fine. What? You're fine? Since that day when we left from the 7th floor, 3 days had already passed. There, bathing was done twice a week, and in order to wipe the body each day, there were 2 warm sponge baths. Well, because of the season, we didn't sweat and we were mostly in the car, so didn't particularly get dirty, but... Is it that you're embarrassed about going about the bathhouse, and so you don't want to go? Da-da-da. Not particularly. I didn't mean that. The sun had completely set, and a large moon shone its face in the sky. After that, driving for a while, I found a place that looked like a school somewhere. Here, might just be right. I stopped the car on the roadside near the entrance. Then I began fishing through the mass of laundry that had been left in the back seat. I was sure there were 2 or 3 towels. So pushing aside the clothes that didn't matter, I took what felt like a towel. It had the words Shiraishi Construction printed on it. Most likely some marketing thing, as it was a shabby towel. Well, wait a bit. Holding 2 of the shabby towels, I headed to the school in front of us. Climbing over the closed gate, I peered around the area for a place I was looking for. There it is. After a while, I found a faucet that I was looking for. It was probably there for the gardens. Squeak, squeak, splish. Turning the faucet, the water flowed out strongly, cold enough that it felt like it was slicing through one's body. Then I wet the towels and firmly wrung them out. Slam. Sorry for the wait. Here. Taking one of the 2 damp towels I carried, I gave one of them to the girl. Then taking off my sweatshirt I wore on top, I went ahead and started to wipe my body. In the car interior, well warmed from the heater, the feel of the chilly, damp towel felt good. You don't have to hold back. Wipe your body. Da-da-da. It's cold and feels good, you know. Alright. At first, the girl had stayed unmoving with a sense of hesitation, but with the answer, she slowly took her hands to the buttons of her clothes. Floppy dress shirt and jeans. Unlike me, she placed the hand within her clothes and wiped her body that way. Hey, something the matter? Don't look. Sorry, that's right. Holding the towel in her hand, the girl murmured with her clothes partially off. She made a face that just the slightest bit of reluctance and embarrassment. It was the first time I saw her with that expression. In the cramped car, the 2 of us faced our backs to each other. How about it? Feels good, doesn't it? It was just turning totally dark, and the interior was dimly lit. The glass right in front of me reflected the image of myself wiping my body. And further past my figure, it reflected the figure of the girl behind my back. Just like me, she had taken her top off and was wiping herself. Without intending to, I saw her. A large scar on her chest could be seen. Most likely they were the scars from surgery. I didn't know the details, but it was larger than mine. Say you. Yeah, what is it? Is it unusual? From beyond my back, words towards my figure reflected in the glass. January 25th, still 2005. Okay. Under the cloudy sky, the silver coupe ran on. As always, it continued to run with no destination, and looking back, 3 days had passed. In that span, nothing particularly special happened. To be really particular, along the way we found a particularly free open-air bath. Practically free open-air bath. There wasn't really many people around, so at the least, we managed to take a bath. Other than that, we were towards the bottom of our money, and once again towards the bottom of our gas tank. Haven't you gotten tired of it? Gotten a bit tired of it? Not particularly. The two of us, while eating convenience store niggery, exchanged words. Ooh. Peanut buttery. Compared to the food on the 7th floor, it might have been better, but even then, after eating only this for a number of days, it was looking boring. However, even this kind of food, considering our money, would probably end in a few more trips to the store. That sound is noisy. Huh? What's this all of a sudden? The sound of the car. It's gotten louder than before. Now that you say it, it really has. Most likely the cause was the time we fled from the Pachico parlor a few days ago, where the muffler was hit. I hadn't been worried about it, but certainly the sound of the car has gotten a bit louder. Well, it probably wasn't going to get in the way of driving. And before that, the problem right before us was gasoline. The meter had been pointing at empty, and we had been running like that for 5 minutes. And our money right now amounted to 900 yen. With that, unlike last time, it was clearly not enough. If we totally ran out of gas, then there would probably be nothing that we could do. Making a decision, I pulled into a gas station and moreover, looked for a self-service station. Soon, I found one and pulled the car to a stop at the closest pump and a mini lined up. I'll get some gas. I see. But don't get out of the car. There was no reply. However, she probably also understood what that meant. Opening the car's gas cap, I put in the gasoline by imitating the others. In the area was one other customer, and in the back was the building with vending machines. I could also see someone that looked like a clerk. Most likely that was where one paid the bill. Looking at the explanatory plate, it seemed like after filling up, one would take the receipt over there. In that case, we could just drive off and run away. While looking around the quiet gas station, that's what I felt. 23, 24, 25, 26. The numbers on the meter showing the amount of gas pumped, unlike before, I thought it was going very slowly. I felt very irritated while waiting for the tank to fill. Then passing 40 liters just when the tank was about to fill. Welcome! The clerk that seemed to be a part-timer that had been in the building up until now, for some reason ran over. Ashtray, tire pressure, are they all fine? Yeah, they're all fine. I see, it's cold, so please be careful. And perhaps intended to be a service, the clerk started cleaning the windows. As that happened, the pump announced the tank was full and with a business-like sound spat out the receipt. Please, make your payment over there. Pausing from washing the windows, the clerk pointed to the building from before. Silently, I held the receipt and unable to think of what to do, I wound up standing still. Is something the matter, sir? No, nothing. For the moment, I went back inside the car. Then I only started up the engine. What should I do? The part-time clerk was starting to clean the rear window now. Right now, if I just slammed on the accelerator, however, without a doubt, the license plate would be noted down. If there was an investigation, we would easily be caught. However, in order to run here, I made a decision and firmly pressed on the clutch. Then, when I switched the gear out of neutral and was about to enter second, here, you can use it. Suddenly, the girl took out an envelope. From inside that, she took out 10,000 in bill and held it out to me. You had money? And I had been convinced she had none. If that were the case, I would not have gone through all that trouble until now. Why didn't you say anything? Did you ask? No, no. Because I wasn't asked. With just that answer, once again, as always, she faced the window. Once again, the coupe ran on. For now, we had a full tank of gas. Moreover, I had also received a 5,000 bill in change. However, for me, I was more interested about what had happened just before. Hey, you. Here, this is all of it. Eh? Before I could speak, the girl offered me the envelope from before, just like that. It's okay if I use this? It doesn't matter. You can. Looking inside the envelope, there was still 4 10,000 yen bills. With that, we would probably be fine for a while. However, now I was more concerned about something else. Why did the girl have so much money? At least the few thousand yen that I had from the start was just what I had been carrying when we left. However, in the girl's case, it felt like she had been prepared in advance. Hey, you. Before you said that you didn't like the 7th floor, right? I also didn't like home. I'm the same way. Then you were planning on going somewhere? This is the money for that purpose, isn't it? Then I remembered the girl's words from before. She had said that she would go somewhere while she was still able to move on her own. Asked me whether I wanted to stop her or wanted to go with her. Then you really did have someplace you wanted to go. Not particularly. I can't understand if you say not particularly. There is no place. Just that, looking lonely, she sadly murmured. Then this girl was without a destination, but still picturing someday in the future, simply preparing for it all this time alone? I was concerned why she had been doing such an empty thing, but I sensed the girl's lonely profile was confirming that. Then what about you? Even me? Not particularly. Don't imitate me. I'm not imitating you. We continued driving without a destination. I, who had impulsively fled from the 7th floor, and the girl who had no place to go but hollowly only continued to prepare. However, right now, it doesn't matter where, I just want to go somewhere. Eh? At least for me, I wanted something to give me direction. With the money we have now, it's definitely enough to go. I was sure any place would have been fine, even the 7th floor, even someplace not home, so long as we can continue going. However, I didn't want to wander around aimlessly. I think I wanted a goal. It didn't matter what. Don't you think of wanting to go to? Not particularly. With just that answer, once again, she turned her gaze out the window like she usually did. Always, her eyes seemed to be looking at something far away. Just what on earth is she looking at, I wonder? What was she thinking? What was she expecting? When she came here, I wonder. And with that, guys, we are going to end this session of Storytime of Narcissu. That was an interesting turn. So she's been preparing to leave for a long time, but nowhere to go. She doesn't have any place in particular she wants to go. She just didn't want to be there. But she hopelessly kept her money together. This Bonnie and Clyde duo is weird, to say the least. I mean, obviously, if you're looking at death every day, is it really that weird? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to say. Guys, it's been Pergling. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. I got nothing else to really say. Except, if you guys haven't already, check out Discord. Check out my Discord. It's a thing that exists now. You guys can constantly talk to me and suggest things and whatnot and all the other types of stuff. You guys can keep up with other people in the percolating community and talk to each other and have a good time. There's things to keep you guys entertained there as well. If you guys are just kind of bored, you can run through and do your dailies and whatnot and have a good time, have a fun time. Anyways, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. It's been Pergolating, and I'm out.